Let's talk about Intel. And Intel has finally started doing some right things for their CPUs and as a company also. So the first thing that Intel did that was like very good was Intel changed their CEO. Yes, the CEO who was the current CEO was Robert Swan, and he has been kicked out of his place as the post of CEO, and the new CEO that would be announced would be Pat Gelsinger. But let's talk like other stuff earlier. So the thing is like CEO change could be a reason, a chance for Intel getting back into the competition, and that is actually not good for AMD, but it's very good for consumer because AMD has inflated their CPU pricing, which should be coming down again in upcoming years as Intel gets some good stuff out in the market. And well, the another news is like Intel i3 processors would be based on 3 nanometer process. Yes, it's 3 nanometer. Well, you would be thinking like Intel hasn't developed 10 nanometer correctly right till now, so how they are going on 3 nanometer? So 3 nanometer isn't by Intel, but it's by tsmc, and it's like something really good, I would say, if we can see some like efficient performance in the budget section also. So like, we will cover multiple points today about Intel, but let's start from the CEO change. So the current CEO, as I told you earlier, is Robert Swan. He is a guy from finance department, so like he is much more profit and share oriented. He just want to keep company in profit and shares, like climbing the market. Whereas the new CEO that would be appointing very soon, it's on 15th Feb actually, it's Pat Gelsinger, who is from engineering department, and having a CEO from engineering department is very good for a tech based company, at least because they know how to invest and where to invest for a better product. Now, well, if we talk about history of Pat Gelsinger, so Pat Gelsinger has been working in Intel for 30 years, and he has been ex-CEO of VMware. Now, well, VMware is a very famous company, but still, if you don't know, let me tell you that it's a company based on cloud computing and virtualization. That's like a very big company, VMware, and it's a pretty popular company. So he has been CEO there, so he knows how to do like CEO stuff. And well, if we take like other examples of like CEO proving better for tech companies, let it be starting by Leatherman Johnson Huang, who is CEO of Nvidia, and Nvidia is like they are just producing killer products right now. So yeah. And next second example is Lisa Su, who is an ex IBM engineer and now CEO of AMD, and he is one of the main reasons for the innovation of Ryzen given by AMD, and continuous upclimb of AMD in the PC market finally, after years of lagging behind and being a budget option. Like finally AMD has become the option for performance. That's the main reason. And after this, if we talk furthermore, so earlier Intel had their own foundry till now, and well, the thing is they don't have a very good yield in their foundry. They aren't able to get 10 nanometer process good in their foundry, so like they aren't anywhere set around for 7 nanometer. And as AMD is currently making CPUs on 7 nanometer, so Intel have to shift to 7 nanometer at a stage, I would say. But it's been but Intel 7 nanometer has been delayed to 2022, and it's already like 2021, and AMD has producing 7 nanometer CPU since 2020. Like this was something which was not good for Intel, but finally Intel has coming back. And now actually Intel won't start making processors just right now in these TSMC's foundry, but the Intel's 10 nanometer would be older, like that would be like their 12th generation. That would be on Intel's 10 nanometer foundry process basically. But after that, like from 13th generation, Intel is supposed to shift to TSMC 7 nanometer, and this is like something like better. But as we know that AMD and Nvidia also get their chips from TSMC. AMD is still right now getting their chips from TSMC, whereas Nvidia has shifted to Samsung's 8 nanometer process, which actually hasn't proven very good for Nvidia, because there are reports that Samsung's yield aren't that good for Nvidia. So whatever Nvidia's decision, I would say it was Nvidia's call. They did it. And if we talk about Apple's 5 nanometer SoCs and are also manufactured in TSMCs, so does the Snapdragon 888 processor, which is like the current gen 5G processor, like highest end thing you can buy right now from Snapdragon in your mobile phones. Now the thing is that Intel is also planning to shift to TSMC's 5 and 3 nanometer process for generations after Alder Lake, and it would be it would be like 13th generation, as I told you most probably earlier. But this step is, even though I'm appreciating this step with a whole heart and welcoming it, because this is something really good for company like Intel to come back in the competition. But the thing is Intel has their own foundries, and they aren't able to achieve like a 10 nanometer sufficiently in their foundries, which is actually like this is like like thing of shame, a little bit thing of shame as Intel, because Intel is a really really old company. Like it's the pioneer company who started CPU business. Like one of the pioneer, I would say, not the pioneer, but one of the pioneer companies who started CPU business and make it so big. So yeah, like that's what I can say. We don't have anything else to say right now. But yeah, actually Intel, yeah, there's also one more point. Actually Intel also used to make TSMC, make product from TSMC's foundry, but earlier it would be there like low end products. There would be like motherboard chipsets or like their i3s and all, where Intel would be mainly focusing on i5 and i7s and Xeons in their own foundry. TSMC was used for like like errands, like the small errands of the work, whereas Intel's foundry was making the big ones. But like times have changed and the table have turned, and now TSMC would be making Intel's major processors in upcoming years. Well, I would say like this is, well, if if Intel shifted to TSMC as same as AMD, then this would be like a much clearer space for us to determine like which processor architecture is better, whether it's AMD or Intel, because when say both of them have like same process of by the same company, then it would be easier for like reviewers to check out like which has like better IPC boost, which has better transistor density, and like which has better performance and all. Like there would be like leg to leg comparison from now. Earlier it wasn't like completely leg to leg because AMD was at 7 nanometer, Intel was at stuck at 14, so there were some issues. And finally the other thing we can call upon by changing the CEO is like finally Intel could have better marketing practices, because like in the last couple of years Intel's marketing practices has been a shady for a long go. But like that's what I can say right now. And yeah, there's another topic, just like Intel's upcoming GPU would be like DG1, is also based on a TSMC 7 nanometer process. So let's hope that innovation comes around. And well, personally what I think about this thing is like as soon as Intel shift to 7 nanometers of TSMC, they would start also working on 7 nanometer in their own foundries, and they would be going back to their own foundries later on when Intel gets the 7 nanometer process done in their foundries. Till then they would be competing with AMD's own weapon TSMC. So that's the thing for like and another video in future. I guess so. That's all for today, guys. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like and share, and do comment down below what do you think this step is gonna to come up to. And subscribe to our channel for more tech info like this. Until then, I would say thank you.